Mandel, 30 years old, is a politically conservative writer and an Orthodox Jew who has written in prominent Jewish and conservative publications about her opposition to Trump. That's why she bought a gun. She has faced thousands of anti-Semitic messages online, mostly from self-identified white nationalists who are big Trump supporters. Messages like,
"Die, you deserve to be in an oven, the world would be better off without you." And
it's the memes they send her that she has to hide from her children.
They're pictures of their Holocaust victims, and then they superimpose my face on one of the victims.
Twitter has been criticized for doing little to rid its network of such hate, especially with real-life anti-Semitic incidents on the rise. But ultimately, Mandel blames Trump, who she says is playing to the bottom rung of society. So a couple of months ago, she packed up the kids and went to the gun shop. And now she feels safer.
Like, come at me. Everybody knows I have a gun now, and I'm really not afraid to shoot it.
The anti-Semites' initial targets were conservative writers who opposed Trump, but they soon created images of decapitated yarmulke-wearing heads of Jewish news reporters who cover Trump, though some Jewish writers view the trolls as harmless. For me, it took just a few days of reporting on Trump before I was called a kike. Then, my name was posted inside triple parentheses, which is neo-Nazi code for flagging Jews. I just wanted to know why.
At the time, when I did that, it was really nothing, personal against you.
That's a Trump supporter who called me out on Twitter for being Jewish. He identified himself as a 28-year-old Iraq War veteran. He goes by the handle @TonySando. I tweeted back to see if he would do an interview, and he gave me his number.
It is your ethnicity. I don't understand why you would be upset, regardless of, who it is saying it. It's a fact.
Well, I think it comes to the fact that
I told him that over the centuries, Jews have been identified and scapegoated, then murdered.
Looking at it logically, that's completely understandable.
But then he went on to say that white people are the ones who are scapegoated in modern America. Jews, white supremacists say, have disproportionate power over media, foreign policy, and banking. There's a paradox here because Jews are an integral part of Trump's operation. One of his closest advisors is Jared Kushner, his son-in-law, and the Orthodox Jewish husband to his daughter Ivanka, who converted. Trump often mentions that he has Jewish grandchildren. Trump, even when asked, has refused to denounce the anti-Semites who wage online attacks in his name. Jason Greenblatt, an Orthodox Jew and chief legal officer for the Trump Organization, highlighted a brief statement Trump released earlier this year denouncing anti-Semitism after an endorsement from David Duke, former leader of the KKK.
He's running a campaign. He has a business to run. I don't think it's fair for me to constantly go to him and say, "Oh, this unknown Twitter troll said this. Can you make a statement?"
But so far, Trump has not made any such statement. For NPR News, I'm Matt Katz.
All right. It's a good subject. I'm Jewish. Bar mitzvah when I was 13. I am not Orthodox. I'm not even that much of a practicing Jew, but I will always tell people I'm Jewish because that's what I am. That's the philosophy I go by. I have been a registered Republican since 1984. Voted for Ronald Reagan. I voted for George Bush, both of them. I voted for the failed campaigns of Dole and Mitt Romney. And I can't vote for Donald Trump because he's not a conservative. Not because people think he's anti-Semitic. I don't believe that. I feel that is a racist thing. If it was, shame on him. One more issue that just shows that he wouldn't be a good president. What is he based upon? Building a wall, kicking out illegal immigrants, bombing terrorists, and cutting taxes. That's not really a way to run a country. I have a background in economics. I've owned my own business for the last dozen years. I've been integral parts of other businesses. I think I have a decent handle on how people think about their money because I do tax returns for a living. And I don't sense any of this knowledge that Trump, who's supposed to have an IQ of like 150 just based upon, what college he went to and how hard it is to get in there and stuff. I don't feel it. I mean, I usually recognize when someone is of equal or superior intelligence to my own. And I know my IQ is not that high. And yet, I don't see a guy who's all that smart. And for these people to threaten people, it's just trolling on the internet. 99.99% is going to, they're just pussies. But she should have a gun to protect herself. Make sure her kids stay away from it, but make sure it's accessible in a pinch. Because there is that 0.001% who will go after you. And you need to be ready for it. So as a good conservative, that woman is perfectly fine having a gun and having it ready. But NPR is trying to just label him an outright racist. These people voted for other Republicans. They probably voted for the Old South. It's just a fact of life. They're going to pick one side or another. They're not going to pick the modern version of Democrats. Democrats got their own problems. They've got their racists from other agendas. But they just don't have the power, quote unquote. Triple parentheses, whatever that terminology is for outing for Jews and other minority groups. So, yeah. Trolls are just that. Little, horrible people who live in their basements, don't have a life to live, and so they go out and they make comments that are threatening and don't have the power or the ability to follow through on their threats. Political Drive. Comment, leave a like, subscribe. Thank you. Good night.